Welcome to the Dallas Duo Podcast,
your weekly wellness coffee date.
We're friends in Dallas, always looking for the best ways to optimize our health
and have fun along the way.
I'm Whitney Stewart.
And I'm Andrea Overtur.
This is our first podcast episode. We're here. We're not going to tell you how many hours it took to get here.
What's important is that we're here. We wanted to take this first episode to introduce ourselves and talk about what you can expect with this podcast and to share a little bit more about our backgrounds and how we met and
how we got here. So let's talk a little bit about, I think, our origin. We're both not from Dallas, which I think gives kind of this unique perspective. We're both transplants here. We both experienced a lot of Dallas firsts here, grown our families here.
But we aren't from here. So I think that makes, I guess, our experience here a little unique in that when we got here, we've experienced and explored the city in our own ways.
Andrea, I think you should tell us your background. How did you and Ryan move here in the first place? What brought you to Dallas?
We both grew up in New Mexico. Both grew up in Taos. We moved here right after college. We had been married a little over 2 years, and we actually found out we were expecting our daughter, which was a big surprise, as you can imagine. I was 22 at the time. Ryan got a job offer here, and it was a very quick move and kind of one of those things where it was I'll try anything for a year. And maybe that's, we were so young that we just kind of jumped right into a brand new city, completely different culture-wise. But it has been such a blessing to be here. It's been such a great place to raise a family. I'm just so thankful. It's kind of those things you look back and realize, gosh, this was really something that was meant to be for us. And I remember telling Ryan when we moved here, if this doesn't work out, we can always move back in a year. I'll give it a year, but here we are almost 23 years later. But tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah, I love that. I think that, Dallas is such a city that really welcomes you with open arms. I moved here for college and I really didn't have anything to expect. I knew that I had school paid for. I knew that I wanted to be a doctor, and that was really all I knew. I didn't have any friends in Dallas. And so being the most antithesis of a MRS degree, I did meet my husband my very first day of school.
That's so fun.
So we've been here for about 13 years now, and Dallas still feels really new to me. I still feel like there's things that I'm constantly discovering. There's always something new going on, but I feel that it is so warm and welcoming compared to so many cities that I have even lived in, especially being from the West Coast and being from Washington.
Small town.
I feel like people are just very warm here, and that part of it has kept us here. And it being a very centralized location for easy travel.
I did experience as well that Dallas is a super friendly city. I mean, we moved here not knowing anyone. And so the friends that we've made here have become lifelong friends. A neighborhood we ended up settling in, we really loved. And so I think that, I've experienced that too.
Yeah, exactly.
This episode is brought to you by Alive and Well. From functional medicine to spa treatments, Alive and Well offers a holistic health ecosystem at each of their locations in Dallas, Austin, and Boulder. I have the Women's Optimal Health membership, and I have been so pleased with the practitioners and level of care that I have received. Be sure to check out everything they have to offer at aliveandwell.health and aliveandwell.health on Instagram.
I want to share a little bit about the origin of the idea of this podcast, where this came from. It wasn't me.
It was me. I'm guilty. We've been friends for a long time. We had the privilege of working together for a while, which we'll go a little bit more into as we go along here. But once we weren't working together, it was kind of we made an effort. There was a void, and we made an effort to really stay in touch and meet up for coffee dates and workouts. That's kind of our thing. And also we would text each other ideas. We used to have these great brainstorm sessions when we were either exercising or working out, especially on the StairMaster. For whatever reason, I get my best ideas on the StairMaster. Through that, it was kind of hey, Whitney, let's do a podcast. Would you be up for that? I'm a big podcast listener, listen to podcasts quite often.
And I don't.
She doesn't. She's been on several podcasts. She wasn't an avid listener as much as I was. I don't know. I mean, it took a little bit of convincing, but I feel like you're always pretty open to my crazy ideas.
Andrea's good at patient persistence. I'm absolutely no. And she's okay, I'll circle back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm you'll have fun. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay. So On that note, I think people, not that it's like an odd pairing, but I think people meet us and wonder, like, how did you guys even meet? Like, how did you become friends?
How did your worlds collide?
Because I think that people think that we met at like Equinox.
Yes.
Like they're like, oh, like Whitney did her internship there and you were working out there at the time. Like, oh,
Yes.
that's how they met. And I'm like, no, that's actually not how we met at all. This
Right.
gal stalked me
I
and
did.
found me. And that's how we became friends.
So the way it all came about was I got very into the Whole30. I did it for myself in 2013.
Like
and
in the origin
like
of
when it was
Whole30.
kind of like very much just a CrossFitter thing,
And
I feel
one
like.
book,
And
one
they
book
had one
concept.
book but I was introduced to it through some friends, and truly it changed my life. I had struggled with disordered eating in my teens, an unhealthy relationship with food going into my 20s. And even though I was like recovered and I was in a somewhat good place, I still recognized that I didn't have a healthy relationship with food. And that's something that I really wanted to work on, especially like as we had Marissa at that time and she was kind of young elementary age, but I just really wanted to do my best for her and for our family. And so I took the plunge and did the Whole30, and it really did change my life. It opened up my world to foods that I had been restricting for a long time, and I started to feel great.
Less frozen yogurt and Diet Coke.
Yes, less fake food. And a lot of that, some of the confidence that came from completing that and starting to feel better. Like, I didn't realize how crappy I felt the way I was eating before and just like my behaviors and mindset toward food. And so just the confidence that came from that kind of extended into, oh, well, like, what do I want to do? Like, and right around the time is when I started my blog back in 2012. I think that there were so many ways that like the Whole30 was a catalyst for like amazing changes in my life. So I found out about the coaching program. It was just like a pilot program.
And even beta testing.
Yeah, they didn't even exist yet. I had been reaching out to Melissa Hartwig for Hartwig at the time, now Urban. I'd been reaching out to her just to see if she wanted to come to Dallas to do an event that I could co-host, if I could be a coach, and all of those things. So finally, when they decided to do the coaching program, I was thrilled to be able to go through it. But at the same time, I knew, even though I know this program inside and out, I feel confident that I could be a coach. I really wanted to have like someone with a solid nutrition background that really knew their stuff. I mean, you can only go so far with Whole30 and then you have to do the reintroduction. That's like the most important part of it, as we know. And so I really wanted to find someone that I trusted, that fully understood the program as well. So here I go, doing my research and find Whitney. So,
And
the
this was
first
like a plug from Melissa. Like,
yes,
going back. So this original beta testing, like Whole30 group was, I think, like incredible individuals. It was like,
oh my God,
real food dietitians, Mel
Juwan,
Danica Brisha,
yes,
you.
And it was like 8 of us that
It's
started.
like the coolest group. And Andrea's just like casually emailing with Melissa.
And I totally had imposter syndrome at that time because the people that were in it, I was like, do I know enough to be here? But I mean, again, I knew my stuff at the time. And so it was exciting to find Whitney and to reach out to her. And so you can tell that part of like what you thought.
So the first time I met Andrea was actually Melissa did a book tour for,
I think it was
second book?
the Whole30, like the Whole30
the
book.
Whole30 book. And it was in this like tiny little bookstore in Pine. And it was like in a mall.
Yes.
Old Melissa would look back and be like, wow, we've come super
Yes.
far. There was like no security. It
Yes.
was like her and her publicist. And Andrea was doing the social media content for it.
It was
like
actually Snapchat takeover,
Snapchat
which like,
content. Or losing a bunch of followers.
Yeah, I know.
They're like,
sorry.
what is that? What is Snapchat? And I was like, who is this person who's filming? And this tiny little super nice human. And she was so nice. She was like, hi, how are you? It's so nice to meet you. And I was like, that's just like shady blogger. Like, she's just being nice because she wants something. I was like, enjoyed the night. It was great. Again, she was like super nice the whole time. I'm like, cool. She's like, I'd love to connect sometime. I'm like, okay, great. Thinking that this is just like an empty promise. It wasn't. You guys, she actually was who she said she was.
I followed through.
So genuine. I was just jaded.
Well, and just, it's really funny because I was kind of jaded about dietitians and she was kind of jaded about bloggers. So I think we had
we healed our trauma together.
Yes.
And so I think Andrea reached out to like get coffee. Like, she's like, I have an idea. And I was like, huh, okay.
And you were working at the hospital.
Yeah, at that time,
right?
I like walked down during my lunch break in my little pink scrubs. At that time, was that local coffee? I think they made like their homemade.
Yeah.
in like Bishop Arts District. And she was like, I have this idea. I've been talking to Melissa. I was like, that's casual. About this coaching group, and I'd love to bring like a dietitian on. Are you interested? And at that time, like I wasn't enjoying my job at the hospital. I was there because I felt like I had to be. I had done some group coaching with some local studios, and I was like, this is amazing. And what's so interesting at that time was like I had never thought about coaching with someone else. I had done everything myself. I hadn't really ever like trusted anybody else before. I felt like it was just like really good, like God's timing. Like I was like, this is like could be like a counterpart person for you to grow with. So
And I really felt at the time, even though I just met you, I really felt like, you had strengths that I didn't have, and like kind of vice versa. And I felt like our personality really meshed.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I mean, like, I knew you were younger than me, at the time. I mean, we're 10 years apart. Just felt like we kind of very quickly became friends. Like we just kind of meshed, which was really nice from the start. Like I trusted you when I met you.
Yeah. And like that led to this like kind of like beautiful some partnership. Like talk about kind of like right place and right time.
Yeah.
I feel like we got so many incredible experiences together. Coaching Whole30 and being invested in Dallas community and doing awesome events. You can go look at the archived pictures of Dallas Duo events.
Yes, we had a great time. And I think it was also really amazing to brainstorm that whole concept together.
Yeah.
Because I think that we
Because
really, no one had ever done it. We truly created something special. So in a nutshell, our concept was we would coach the Whole30, right? And it was a 6-week program. So we'd coach our members through the Whole30. And then at the end of it, we'd also lead them through the reintroduction.
Yeah.
But what made it fun was we had, weekly meetups where
that
we
were
would,
like amazing.
that were so fun. I mean, we would coordinate a workout with one of we worked with the best fitness studios in Dallas, and then we would coordinate a brunch to go with it. And we made sure everything was Whole30 compatible. And I think we really just wanted to show people you can be active, you can have a fun social life, you can eat out, you don't have to stay home and just be, cooking on your own and have to just be like in this Whole30 bubble. You really
people in our group were giving other Whole30ers major FOMO.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I'm going to brunch with my girls, and there's going to be Siete products for me to take home, and probably get a t-shirt, and I get a free berries workout.
We'd send them home with the best stuff. We were doing it as much for them, and we were enjoying it at the same time. And the coaching part of it was also just fantastic. I felt like we were able to really, help people create lasting changes. Yeah, it was so fun. And we did that for what, 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. Like
that was 2018.
Yeah, into COVID. Yeah. And then it's funny because our relationship then was almost like this, we had this really creative entrepreneurial thing together, but we were kind of like each other's go-to person for wellness things, because then it's okay, healthy restaurants, new products to the market,
beauty products, even
these things suddenly that we were each other's go-to. And so then we've had other opportunities pop up together, but it's okay, what else can we do that emphasizes that niche, that brings kind of that Dallas Duo content?
Yeah, and we did extend it. We were a Whole30 Dallas Duo, and then we kind of switched it over to Dallas Duo so that we could really spread our wings and do other things in the Dallas fitness community. And I feel like there's always something new and upcoming. Dallas is definitely an incubator for some of the newest, greatest things.
And I feel like that's the coolest part, is that I feel like Dallas is really saturated. And so if something is not good, and if something doesn't do well, it's not going to make it very long.
Yeah. It won't last.
Yeah, in my hometown, there's restaurants that are bad and overpriced, and they're still there because nobody has brought competition for them. And so I'm excited because I feel like we are already talking about these topics. The things that we're going to be talking about weekly are already in our group text. And so we just want to bring that to a bigger circle, because I think the questions that we're getting in DMs or on our blogs are the same questions and things that we're talking about and here to the table.
Yeah.
And the Dallas market is so unique with its love of wellness and aesthetics and longevity. And I don't think that you would go to any city and be like, oh yeah, there's competing concierge doctors, or there's so many options of where I could get like laser BBL done.
Yeah, the
That-
choices that we
yeah.
have here are, I mean, it can be a little overwhelming at times
Yeah.
to know what's good,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
but that's kind of where recommendations from your friends come in and
Yeah.
all of that. But yeah, I think that we truly are lucky to have access to the things that we have here. And I mean, you being in a wellness, medical related field, and then with what I do, and also my husband, what he does, he's been in the fitness industry for so long. I feel like we have a good base.
Well-rounded, experience of everything.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's like as much as we have in common, you and I think that, you know, we also each offer a fresh perspective on things, you know, like there's a ton we have in common, but at the same time, I'm a little older, my kids are a little older, Whitney is a new mom, which is so much fun. And it's just, I think life experiences, you know, I think we both bring some fun perspectives to the table.
Well, and I think that, I just think like, I'm a little more crunchy. Andrea is a little bit more good. It's like a good mix.
I'm scrunchy.
Yeah, she's scrunchy. But like if somebody is going to look low maintenance, it's me.
I don't think that's true.
We've come a long ways. We'll show you old photos.
Yeah, it's high
fine.
maintenance to be low maintenance.
I have collateral. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
High maintenance to be low maintenance.
Yeah,
That's the mantra.
Exactly. She's like brought my bougie levels up a little bit. Okay,
what did we cover? I think we kind of covered
that kind of gives like a good spin of like why we're here, who we are. Do you want to share like who you are, like what you do?
Yeah,
like,
that's it. Yeah, maybe just like a little in a nutshell. So I started my blog, like as I mentioned, back in 12, which gosh, that seems like such a long time ago.
It's like before there was like LTK and affiliate links and reward style, like all of that.
And eventually did get into reward style, which was great. I felt like that helped me to kind of amp up my content and connect with, most importantly, I think connect with other creators. I think that's been, you know, such a blessing and just kind of keeps you going to connect with people that are doing the same thing as you. And so the blog kind of just came from like my love of fitness and wellness and writing. With what Ryan does, like I was always like, I made most of my friends in the gym in the fitness center where he worked. And so some of that came from like, oh, like, can you share your protein pancake recipe with us? So I was like, well, be nice to have a place to put it. So put it on the blog. And then also came from like back then, that's when athleisure was really taking off. So like, you know, Lululemon was pretty new. And now there's so many brands. And so really it was just a place to write about, you know, all of those things. And I do feel like I've kept up the blog. If I've taken breaks here and there, of course, but I feel like it's evolved with me. I've been able to write about, you know, all of that stuff. And I, you know, still that's majority of my content, but I've written about, you know, family stuff, travel stuff.
The longevity of it, I think, is truly amazing. Like being such an early adopter of something, but really continuing with it
really
is incredible.
Continuing. I mean, and I think, you know, it's gone from recipes to dorm room content. It's really grown with me. And so that's been really great. And then, of course, you know, getting into Instagram once that took off. And now, gosh, video is just like, you know, king, everything. So, which I never, if you would have asked me in 2012 if I would be making videos of myself and outfits and recipes, I would not have believed you. Because,
on a weekly basis.
Yes, because I really am kind of an introvert, an extrovert introvert, I guess, but I truly enjoy it. And I think, you know, mostly it's enriched my life because I've gotten to meet some amazing people like you and also Stephanie, who's here with us today.
What are you talking about? We set all this up ourselves in 2 minutes. She's so easy.
She's one of the people that's encouraged me so much with my blog, gosh, from the beginning, and photography, and gotten me over that hump of just being so like self-conscious and just embracing it and more so having fun. So that's a little bit about me. I mean, I've been doing that, and I feel like it's something that's allowed me to work more at times and, you know, devote time to my family more when I needed to. It's been a very fun and flexible career, so I'm super thankful for that. But tell us a little bit about you, because your journey is super interesting as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how, like, the biggest thing that I learned from you was the power of asking, how like you can always ask.
Yeah.
So like where before I would be like kind of like the rule follower of like, oh yeah, I could do that. She's like, you know, just ask. And the amount of times that we have like asked and things have evolved is truly incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's something I had to learn too. So like when we started working together, I'm like, well, let's ask them if we can do a class there. All they can say is no. Or let's ask
them if we can do a class there and if they can outfit us and put it on their Instagram. And it was like,
whoa.
Because they would say yes.
Yeah, because I was like, all they can say is no. You know, that's like worst case scenario. So
I think part of it is the magic of like Andrea asking. Maybe it's just the
email whisper.
Yeah, exactly. I am a registered dietitian, board certified diabetes educator. And I don't think that I'm like the normal dietitian. I work private practice now. I've been doing it for 9 years. And I'm a big fan of like listening to patients, hand holding. I'm trying to be really collaborative with other providers. But I am also really invested in community because I think that my best health came from having like a really strong group of women around me. And I find that if my patients don't have like good community around them, that it just never works. And so sustainable nutrition has kind of been my go-to is like, if you're just doing this by yourself and your family's not involved or your kids aren't on it, like it's just not going to stick. And so I try to be as honest and I think
You're very compassionate in your path, like,
and like, but like realistic. Like I don't expect my patients to, make like recipes all the time because like I don't really make recipes. I kind of just cook from like ingredients. I don't really do like restrictive meal plans or any like crazy detox protocols because I just don't feel like it's doable. So a lot of my time outside of clinic, which is very little, but has been spent with connecting with other providers who are like-minded and who are collaborative. And so like some of the guest interviews that you'll see in upcoming episodes are like providers that were like, this person is awesome. Like not just their bedside manner, but the way that they're treating patients, it's different than the norm. It's something that we need to see more of and talking about some of those topics that get like swept under the rug. My favorite thing to do is to talk about uncomfortable subjects, to bring up awkward things. And so I feel
but
like
it makes it easier, and I think it makes people feel less alone.
Yeah,
when you do that.
Yeah, I feel like based on kind of like my life journey and life story, like I think I just hit a certain point where like I really have no filter anymore and I really don't care. And so I'm so excited to have that aspect here to bring in topics and things that people are like, I can't believe that we're talking about this, but it's so important that we do.
Exactly. No, I agree. And I think also like just being your friend for the, past several years, I think it's also been amazing to see your evolution as a practitioner. I mean, Whitney can tell
Andrea met me like when I was like inpatient in like 6:45 to 3 Monday through Friday at the hospital. So
yeah. And I mean, when we worked together, it was like side gig.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, in your spare time. But I just think it's amazing to watch how you work with patients. I mean, I've also been your patient aside from working together, but I just always feel comfortable literally sending anyone to you, like my parents included. I think that you just really meet people where they are, but like you also really help them to grow. And I think that is truly like a special thing that you're able to do. So I just wanted to say that.
I think it's like judgment-free love shoves is what we talk about a lot of times. My patient the other day was like,
it's your style.
But I don't really like that. I'm like, I know, but that's not why you're here. And I want you to try anyways. And she's like,
you're like, I love you, but I'm going to push you.
But it's okay that it's uncomfortable. I'm so glad you're uncomfortable right now.
Yes. I love that though. But patients really do feel that like you truly care and you truly want the best for them. And I think that like that does come through in your work. So I think that's amazing.
I'm super excited for like all that this is going to bring. I'm so excited to be like back together doing a concept.
Yeah. I mean, we have a whole list of like guests that we want to bring on and topics that we want to talk about, but also, make sure that you're following us both on social media because we'll be, posting everything and also asking for like what you think. And, if we are going to be introducing a topic, like what do you want to know about that? Feedback, topics, all of the things, ask us anything. We're pretty open. Do we want to do a rapid fire real quick? To end our episode.
Okay, what's the last thing that you ate?
Well, I was in a hurry, so I stopped for a smoothie at the gym, and I got my favorite Jada ginger snap, which
with protein.
I know it's also with protein. You have to add the protein.
Yeah, you're welcome. The gym. We called you out. That drink is so good. The last thing I ate was a new Primal Meat stick. I know, like we're very unsurprised by that.
Best snacks though. Got to keep those around.
Coffee or matcha? This question is not for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing matcha for a while, but I'm back.
I was so proud of you.
I know. I tried, but I am eating breakfast with my coffee, so it's allowed now.
Following all the rules.
All good. Okay.
Next trip you're taking? Well, we're trying to decide. If anyone stayed at the Viceroy in Cabo, let me know because that's where we're looking. But probably Cabo.
That'll be fun. Well, not as exotic, but I'm going to Lubbock.
That's a jungle. It was a jungle over there.
Jungle. Marissa has her final mom's weekend, so I will be enjoying Lubbock in a couple weeks. But we always have fun. It's always good.
Okay, last one. Last clothing item you bought?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I bought some shoes. I bought some New Balance that I really like. Kind of like a casual athleisure. Not really like a workout shoe, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
Andrea taught me the word athleisure, so now it is actually like in my auto text in my phone. That's how often we use it. I bought some of the like Lululemon tank dupes on Amazon in my colors because I did my color palette and I had to throw out the ones that were too dusty because that matters in my 6 a.m.
We'll
workout.
talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that another time because I haven't had my colors done quite yet.
She doesn't.
Well, black. I'm just afraid they'll tell me I can't wear black.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll get there.
Beauty hack, Holy Grail health product. For me lately, okay, so I've been loving these Pro Lash eyelashes. I'm wearing them today.
I saw them.
And I wore eyelash extensions for like the real deal ones for a long time, developed an allergy, super sad. But these are actually really easy to apply. So I've been kind of loving them. They last like 6 or 7 days.
I do.
They don't damage my lashes.
I've been mouth taping, unfortunately. I feel like everyone's doing it, and I'm always a late adopter. So I'm like, that doesn't work, but it does. It helps. And my husband once told me that I snored, and then he said he was kidding, and I don't know if he was kidding or not, but that scares me, so I'm just going to continue to mouth tape.
I need to try it, except I have to wear that stupid mouth guard at night, so I don't know if I could do like the mouth guard.
Dangerous.
It might be dangerous. Choking hazard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we hope you for future episodes. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.